There are some true crime cases that make you angry. Some make you sad. And then there are the cases that leave you staring at the wall afterward, wondering if you really understand human nature at all. Today's case is one of those, and this is Hold My Sweet Tea. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Holly.
Devil horns, I'm Pearl.
You're the devil to my angel. And then vice versa sometimes.
Yeah, we trade off.
That's right. Good cop, bad cop. Just back and forth.
Whatever's necessary in the moment.
Yeah.
I do not sit on shoulders, though, because I'm a little too heavy for that. Not trying to injure anyone.
But I do be trying to influence people. They'll be like, what do you think of this? I'm like, do it. Do it.
All right. Or don't do that. Oh
my
God.
Very rarely. I'm like, do it. I am the devil.
See?
Mama said, you the devil. Vicky Valancourt.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so
alligators are mad because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
No toothbrush, that's right. That movie will always just be a really good, you just need a feel good movie. Go watch The Waterboy.
Yeah.
You can do it.
All night long.
There's so many good quotes from literally all of Adam Sandler's movies. We're going to get on an Adam Sandler tangent here, but I don't even think there might be one or two movies that he's made that are but they're just pure gold. And I remember watching him on MTV, the show Remote Control, when he was a teenager, literally.
Crazy. And
he would run out and do stupid, crazy things and then go back to the back.
Yeah. He's idiot funny.
Yeah.
But not an idiot. So that's fun. I remember when you got called Polly that time, and then I started calling you Polly, and then I started calling you Polly Chronopoulos.
Yep. Polly Chronopoulos. It's one of my nicknames.
Not Steve.
No, Steve. Polly Chronopoulos.
Just Polly Chronopoulos.
Right. Yeah. And now his daughters are in movies, and his oldest daughter, she's really good. I've watched her in a few movies, and, people are like, it's a Nepo baby. Well, she's a really good actress. She's done well.
Yeah,
so far.
I feel isn't Hollywood full of that?
Yes, Hollywood is full of Nepo babies.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. Emilio!
Yes.
Charlie Sheen. Martin Sheen. There's so many kids that got into acting because their parents do it.
Right. And some of them don't deserve to be there or in music. And some of them absolutely do because they're super talented.
Right.
So
quit being so judgy.
Right. Judge them on their talent, not their parents.
Exactly. Or their parents' talents.
Right. Or their parents' talents, not their parents' money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we are going to do a case about a child. And you're like,
a kid?
Is this a child victim? Well, one of them is. But one of them is the actual
doer.
Criminal.
Yeah. So this is child on child violence?
Yes.
Ugh.
But within a family.
So so me and my brother.
Right. But you're not a sociopath
No.
that we know of.
I'm never been diagnosed.
Right. I mean, I haven't been diagnosed, but
I
might have some traits.
I did convince him to put his finger in a stapler once because I wanted to see if you could staple someone's finger. And yes, you can.
Well, see, you convinced him to put his finger in the stapler. I just stapled somebody's finger because he was a bully and I didn't like him. And we were putting things on the bulletin board and I went, bam! And he's like, you stapled my finger. I was like, oh.
That's the difference in these zodiac signs. I'm a Cancer. I am manipulative.
I'm a Taurus.
Most of the time.
Violent sometimes.
It's in a good way. Sometimes it's not. So, I did. It's like, I guess in my mind, I'm like, well, he voluntarily put his finger in
so
there.
He deserves it.
So it's okay that I did it because he was a volunteer.
And me, I was full of like pent up rage. And then the rage came out.
Right. But so we're clear. It was not okay that I stapled my brother's finger or talked him into putting his finger in the stapler.
I feel like mine was justified.
Now, there were plenty of licks traded throughout our childhood. He would...
But at no point you were
punch
ever
me in the stomach and I'd kick him in the nuts. We'd both lay on the ground and cry.
Right. But there was no point where you were actually like, I'm going to plan to murder him for real.
No.
Okay. Well, this is where we get into today's story. And I'm going to ask you, like, how do you measure remorse? Like, it's difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because it's an internal emotional state.
Well, how do you even know it's real?
Right. When someone, like, commits an unimaginable crime at 13 years old, though, do you think they should ever get a second chance?
Depends.
And
I mean, if you're killing somebody, no.
Right. But you're like, boy, he was a child. Maybe he just didn't know any better or something like there's always these like swirling questions. Like maybe he went through rehab and
was
like,
he was 3 and he accidentally pulled the trigger on a gun he didn't have? No. Okay. Well then, right. I mean, accidents happen. Sure. Mm-hmm. Maybe you get a second chance after your accident. But
he was 13.
He's 13. I feel like you kind of, you're not supposed to kill somebody at 13.
Right.
You know it's wrong. You know it's bad. But you've watched a lot of TV.
Yeah. You've seen things. Yeah.
Hopefully stuff that was like lesson oriented.
But this is a question that society is going to have to answer very soon. And again, what is the right answer? We don't know.
Well, I need to hear what's going on here.
So we're going to talk about the story of a 13-year-old boy with a genius level IQ.
Well, now he really knows better.
A charming smile. And a reputation for being very polite and well-mannered.
Circumstances here.
Yeah.
Are not in his favor.
Right. So this boy who planned the murder of his 4-year-old sister, not because she had done anything to him, not because a moment of rage, but it was because he wanted to destroy his mother. And I think this is what makes this case even more unsettling, that nearly 20 years later, he still talks about what he did with almost no emotion. So this is the case of Paris Bennett. And I already hate this story.
Right. I'm sitting over here going, why'd you even ask that question? It's pretty obvious the answer to me right now. No.
But I wanted to ask it before I told you what happened, because then you have all these things swirling around your head like, well, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this. But once right.
The answer is no.
But I think
he does not get a second chance.
This story gets worse the deeper you go into it. But we're going to start with who Paris Bennett was before that day. He was born in 1993. His mother, Charity Lee, she had a difficult life from the beginning. She experienced trauma as a child herself. She struggled with substance abuse, and she became a mother at a young age. But by all accounts, though, like, she adored her children, and Paris was her first child. And then years later came little Ella. And despite the family's struggles, like, people who knew them often described Paris as extremely intelligent. And we're talking like gifted program intelligent. His IQ has been reportedly around 141.
Well, the idea that he, rather than hurting, like killing his mom, who he obviously knew maybe he wouldn't be able to overpower and do, he found the ultimate way to cause her severe pain.
And the biggest thing is there's no proof that she did anything to him, that he was jealous that she had another child. There was nothing, there was no motive that
like
has
no reason
ever
to want
been
to hurt your
clear
mom.
As of why he wanted to hurt her.
Wow.
But adults found him very charming. Teachers described him as articulate from like a young age. He's just super smart. People liked him. And that's like one of the biggest themes of this story is that Paris was very, very good at telling people what they wanted to hear, even at a very young age. And I think that's all, like, always the scary part. People who can blend in. And you would never suspect, like, a 13-year-old who is smart and articulate and just well, spoken would do something like this. And that's what it just took everybody by surprise. Like, what? Because nobody looked at 13-year-old Paris and thought that's a future murderer. Like, not a single person. But behind the scenes, there were apparently warning signs. Paris had reportedly been viewing violent pornography online. There were a few concerns that had come up about manipulation, and he had a history of lying.
Who doesn't have a history of lying?
I mean, like, yeah, everybody. And children naturally will lie.
Sure.
They do it.
Especially preteen.
Until they find out, like, it's right from wrong. And then most of them will
here's
choose
the thing
right than wrong.
The reason they're lying is because they know right from wrong.
Right.
And they're trying to stay out of trouble, but don't realize the lie actually gets you in bigger trouble than the truth would have.
But most of them are stupid about it.
Yeah.
And they get caught because you're like, bruh, I know you're lying.
Like, I don't ask questions.
Right.
I don't know the answer to.
But he seemed fascinated with controlling people emotionally. So it was a game to him. But still, none of that prepared like anybody for what happened on February 4th of 2007. That evening, his mom, Charity, had plans with friends. So she got a babysitter for Paris and Ella, and she left them at home with the babysitter. And at some point that evening, Paris manipulated and convinced the babysitter to leave. So he was like, you know what? I've got this. I'm 13. You're okay. You can go. I'll watch Ella. Like, we'll be fine until, my mom gets home. And according to investigators, he had planned this, and it's exactly what he wanted to set everything up. So this wasn't like a spontaneous thing. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't a loss of control or deliberate. Like, he meticulously planned this, and the perfect opportunity to where he could talk this babysitter into leaving because he knew his mom would be gone for a while. So after Ella was asleep, Paris attacked her. And the details are like really heartbreaking. She never had a chance. Like he stabbed her multiple times. Afterward, Paris made phone calls. He talked to a friend. He spent time cleaning himself up. And then he eventually called 911. And when he called, he was like, I killed my sister. Just matter-of-factly. The 911 operator kept asking him, like, is she breathing? Is this? And he's like, no. She's like, can you perform CPR? Do you know how? And she's like doing it. He was counting along with her like he was actually performing CPR. But he was literally just walking around the house going, 1, 2, 3. Like, he wasn't even doing anything. There was no, like, when you do chest compressions, it breaks the sternum and everything.
If nothing. You're doing it right.
Right. There was nothing. He did nothing because he had already killed her. Like, he wasn't even going to try.
She's been dead a while, like you said. Right. He was cleaning himself up.
Yeah, he called a friend.
Talking on the phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, he was just detached. He was calm. He was detached. Nothing. It was like, they said it was like he was describing something that had happened to somebody else. Like, oh, a friend of mine did this or something.
Right.
So it wasn't even like it was out of his head. No panic, nothing. So the police arrived and they quickly realized they weren't dealing with a confused child. They were dealing with someone who seemed strangely aware of what he had done. In fact, Paris later admitted that at one point, the entire point of killing Ella wasn't really Ella. She was the target because she was the person his mother loved the most. Like, in his mind, once Charity had Ella, apparently
somehow she loved him less.
She loved him less and loved her more. So his goal was to hurt Charity as much as possible. And he believed that killing Ella would emotionally destroy his mother for the rest of her life. And in his own words, leaving Charity alive was part of the punishment.
Yeah, my thing is like, it's not even just that he killed it's not that his sister is dead. It is the fact that I have a psychotic child who killed my other child.
Right. And he's 13.
Yeah. Like, and what the hell?
Right. And everybody struggles to process that. Like, how does a 13-year-old think that way?
But that's the thing is, he's on genius level. He's mentally, he's not 13. Not at all. His body is 13, but he is not 13.
Right. So psychologists... 13!
Sorry.
Psychologists who evaluated Paris found something deeply troubling. He displayed significant psychopathic traits. And psychopathy isn't an official diagnosis in children. And
it should be.
Right. And doctors are extremely cautious about applying those labels to minors. But they observed characteristics associated with psychopathy, lack of empathy, manipulation, shallow emotional responses. There was like no remorse. And there was no like ability to understand emotions intellectually without actually feeling them. So he could tell you,
they think that their brains or whatever are not fully developed. So whatever, but it's pretty obvious his brain is advanced in nature.
Yeah. And like he knows what sadness is, but he doesn't experience it the same way
obviously
normal
experiences
people.
Jealousy.
Right.
Big time.
But he experiences it in a different way. It's a different type of feeling to him. And it's crazy that
he's crazy.
Like, he's 13. So,
obviously it's followed him into adulthood. Like, if nothing has changed, he's just that way.
Well, it's like imagine reading a book about grief and you know all the words, you know all the symptoms, but you never actually felt grief.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of experts, they believe that Paris could identify emotions in other people, but struggle to genuinely connect with them emotionally. After his arrest, Paris was sentenced under Texas juvenile law, but because he was only 13, he couldn't receive the death penalty or life without parole. Instead, he received the maximum available sentence, 40 years, with an eligibility for parole after 20, which is about to come up.
Don't let him out.
Right.
I mean, he'll end up jealous of someone else and somebody else will be dead.
So I think, and people are getting nervous, especially his mother. Now, there's an interview with Piers Morgan that he did with Paris. And he also talked to Charity. That's her child. She still loves him.
I was going to say, that's a very torn position to be in.
She still will talk to him occasionally. But in her words, if he gets out, she said, I'm afraid for my life. And she has since had another child. And she said, I'm afraid for my child's life.
That's the one I'd be afraid for.
Right.
Like, I'd be less afraid about myself and mostly afraid about
Right, because he's not going to go after you. He's going to go after your next child.
Right, or anyone I care about. Like, in that case, like, I would just feel like this is going to be, like, a repeat issue. He's going to get out.
Yep.
He's going to seek my attention. He's going to see these other people who I've been loving this entire time. And he's going to do what he has to do to continue his plan to destroy me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And over the years, like since this has happened, like at 13 and once he became an adult, he's given multiple interviews. And a lot of people are like, well, we hear growth and we hear accountability, but professionals and other people, like they hear in something entirely different. And like with the Piers Morgan, I watched that whole interview. He's very calculated when he answers questions. He shows zero emotions. So he'll get asked a question. He'll blink a couple times. He'll look down. And then he'll look back up and he'll answer it very matter-of-factly. There's zero emotion there. But they said that guaranteed that when he knew that this interview was coming, he has researched Piers Morgan, everything about his interview style, and he will know how to respond because the place he's in, like he's allowed to have a tablet, he's books and things like that. So he's done all of his research. He's smart.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure he's watched other people interview in similar situations and like their mannerisms and all the things, like how do I make myself look like this way to people?
How do I make myself look a little bit better so people think I'm getting better? But he was like very emotionally flat. He remained calm. His face like barely changed at all. Even when he was discussing the murder of his little sister.
Like he's an empty shell.
Right. At one point, he acknowledged that he knew what he did was wrong. He acknowledged the pain that he caused. But he described the things that he did almost like academically. Like somebody explaining like a psychology textbook or something. There wasn't an emotional reaction that most people expect. There was no tears, no visible guilt, no emotional collapse. Like you see people and their face becomes flush or tears start forming in their eyes or something like that. Nothing. There was nothing. He has been diagnosed as a sociopath. And like once that interview came out, like it reinforced.
Was he diagnosed as an adult?
Yes, as an adult, because they couldn't diagnose him as a minor, but as an adult, he has been diagnosed as a sociopath.
So,
and just from this interview that went on, like that kind of reinforced that the concerns that people have that.
Do you let him get out so he can hurt someone else and then make his way back? I mean, or do you make him stay?
Mm-hmm. And like his apologies aren't genuine. Like you can tell they're not genuine. They're just very flat. And at one point in the interview, he described the feeling of him wanting to hurt his mother as a wolf inside of him. And he said, I have control of the wolf. He said, I think if it ever came out again and I wanted to hurt someone, I would hurt myself instead. So right there tells you that
he's not got it together.
Yeah, he's not better. He hasn't, there's no rehabilitation for him. It's still there and he's acknowledged that it's still there. Mm-hmm. But he would never hurt somebody else. He would hurt himself first. He said, I'll take myself out before I do anybody else.
Which isn't any better.
Right. And it's still like terrifying, the thought like of him getting out to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And his mother said that, you know, if he was released, that she would have to leave. They live in Texas. She would have to move and leave. Well, yeah, you would absolutely have to. You could never have contact with him again.
Like, yeah, you'd have to disappear, mm-hmm. change your name, do something.
Like witness protection type stuff. Yeah. But I don't think that those, you know, things in somebody just disappear, especially in a sociopath. Like they're always going to be there.
You're going to get out, get into a relationship mm-hmm. with someone.
Right.
They have a friend. Just a friend, like a mm-hmm. best friend, and another girl or whatever. I don't know what his preference would be. You know, I'm just assuming here for the sake of a storyline. Mm-hmm. But, like, she shows too much attention to the best friend. Are you going to, like, murder her best friend? Like, I don't know. Like, that to me is, like, I don't think there's any situation where he could be a part of the world and not at some point do that to someone else.
Yeah. Because, I mean, a deeply disturbed child and 2 decades later of incarceration isn't treatment.
And it's 2 decades later, a deeply disturbed adult now.
Yeah, a deeply disturbed adult. And this is how he spends most of his time in his incarceration. It's in protective custody and specialized housing. Because this case is high profile, that can make prison like extremely dangerous, and he becomes a target mm-hmm. because it was a crime against a child, even though he was a child when he committed it. So he has just like continued his education in prison. He's participated in treatment programs. But again, the prison staff and mental health professionals have remained central to evaluating his progress, because ultimately parole boards aren't asking whether Paris was dangerous in 2007. They're asking whether he's dangerous today.
Right.
And like, how do you answer that? Like, this wasn't a case where I got drunk and made a terrible decision. It was a cold, calculated murder.
The answers are yes and yes. He's dangerous in both times.
But the parole board will have to consider his institutional record, his psychological evaluations, his behaviors while he was there, risk assessments, everything. And if released, Paris would likely face strict supervision, potential counseling requirements, regular monitoring, public scrutiny.
I was going to say, nobody can know who he is either, because...
Right. His name is known worldwide amongst a lot of people. Yeah. And
he become like a hitman.
Right. There wouldn't be like any disappearing unless he went like off grid into the woods, you know.
Right.
But even with those safeguards, many people remain uncomfortable with this idea. And honestly, I do understand why. Because the central question of this case still hasn't been answered. Was Paris Bennett born with something fundamentally different about him? Was it trauma? Was it genetics? Was it all of the above? And perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this isn't this, Paris's story. It's Charity, because she lost her daughter and yet she lost her son at the same time. Like, that's a hard thing. You lost one child to death and one child to prison. So you're grieving both. And you're trying to reconcile the unimaginable because you still love him. And I don't think most people could handle that, really.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Mm-hmm. You'll still love him. You don't like him. You don't like what he did. Obviously.
Yep. So I just want to know, and this is my question of the week. Do you think he should be given a second chance? Like, let us know what you think. And do you believe that a child, even with psychopathic traits, undiagnosed, can be rehabilitated? Do you think that maybe that's just the way he answers things, so that's the way he's always been, and maybe he's better now? Or do you think absolutely not, he needs to stay in prison? But the thing is he would only stay in there for 20 more years. So he's in his early 20s now, mid-20s. So he would still get out in his 40s.
That's just more time to prepare.
Yeah, that's just more fuel for the fire, I think.
But like I said, does he get out and then do this again and end up back? Like, right. That's the thing. It's like, do you give him the opportunity to hurt someone else so you can keep him longer?
Yeah.
Because at that point, I would imagine he would get like life or death, one of the two, depending upon where it happens. But I don't think there's a world where he doesn't do something again.
Yeah. And you really don't know what's the right or wrong answer. It's a tough case.
Yeah.
It really is. Because she had lots of, his mother, Charity, had lots of videos of the kids when they were little. And he was like, just this sweet little boy. And he was always very he was talking to the camera, and he was hugging his sister and taking care of her and loving on her. He seemed very genuinely loving, but was that manipulation the entire time? Like, right. He held on to that manipulation.
Was it all an act?
The entire time.
If it was an act, it's like the level of diabolical.
Right. That is the making of a, diabolical bad guy.
Yeah.
For sure. But
woo.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. For sure.
Yeah, you can message us. Maybe when we have a minute, we can Facebook poll you.
Yes.
See what everyone thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Join the conversation.
Let us know.
But if you want to email us, it's holdmysweetteapodcast@gmail.com.
And go check out that interview with Paris Bennett from Piers Morgan. It's really fascinating if you like that kind of psychological stuff.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know who probably does like that kind of psychological stuff?
Patty Salzetta.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Because she made our theme music, and it's pretty psychological. Psychosocial.
Psychosocial. That's funny. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
But thank you, Patty.
Yeah. And then if you have any stories that you want to tell us about yourself or a friend or a bad boyfriend breakup and he went psychotic or something like that, or
near-death experience,
let us know for our Sweet Tea After Dark.
Yeah, you can send those also to holdmysweetteapodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. And we don't have to include your name, or we can, and we can just make you famous, but not really.
It's up to you. It's really up to you. Some people love shout outs.
That's
Some
right.
people are like, don't you dare.
Right. Do not say my name. Yep. And as always, Hold My Sweet Tea is a Drunken Bee production.
Bzz.
And you guys remember to stay safe out there. Notice your children's psychopathic traits.
For real. Watch your babies.
Watch your babies. They getting a little cuckoo. Go take them to therapy. And just because we're dipping doesn't mean you can't keep sipping. Bye.
Bye.